So the volume of a 3D shape is a measure of how much 3D space it takes up. And a 3D shape can also be called a solid, and you're going to need to be able to accurately calculate the volume of a number of common shapes. So first, let's look at prisms. And prisms are 3D shapes that have two identical base shapes connected by parallel edges. So you can see one edge right here, and the other base is at the other side, not visible, but it has the same base shape all the way through, and a prism takes its name from its base. So there are multiple types of prisms. And to find the volume of any prism, you can use this formula, A times H, where A is the area of the cross section, which is like the area of one of the bases, and H is the height or length of the prism. So this formula is also in the formula booklet, but you probably don't really need to struggle memorizing it because there's only two letters or variables, and it's pretty intuitive. And the base can be any shape as long as you know what the area is. To find the volume of a cuboid, which is a type of prism, use the formula V equals L times W times H, where L is the length, W is the width, and H is the height. So a cuboid is like a rectangular prism. You can tell by the name, and the length, width, and height are just the three different side lengths or edge lengths of the prism. And the volume of a cylinder is V equals pi times R squared times H, where R is the radius of the circle of the base and H is the height or length. And you can see both of these use the formula for a prism, which is the area of the base or the cross section multiplied by the height. And this one, length times width, is the area of the cross section, and in the cylinder, pi squared is the area of the cross section. And a cylinder technically is not a prism because the base or cross section is not a polygon, but the process for finding the area or the volume is still the same. And now for some other shapes. The volume of a right pyramid is 1/3 times A times H, and in a right pyramid, the tip, which is like right here, is always directly above the center of the base. So A is going to be the area of the base, and that's just the length times the width, so you should know how to do that. And the height is just the height of the pyramid. So if you have those two, you can calculate the area or the volume of the right pyramid. And the volume of a right cone is 1/3 times pi R squared times H, where R is the radius of the circle at the top or the bottom, and H is the height or length. So if you have the radius, or if you have the area of the circle at the top or the bottom, you already have pi r squared, so you can just replace that. And if you have that and the height, then you can calculate the volume of a right cone, where the tip is directly above or below the center of the base. The last 3D shape you need to know is a sphere, where the volume of a sphere is 4/3 times pi r cubed, and the r is the radius of the sphere, so the center to any point on the edge. And the only thing you need to know is the radius, because that's really the only measurement you can make. So if you have that, then you can calculate the volume using this formula. Now, let's get into some practice problems. If you think you can do this one, then pause the video and try it. This one says find the volume of this ice cream cone, and in the ice cream cone we're given the ice cream, which is a sphere, and the cone. And we just need to find the volume of both and combine them or add them together. And even though there might be overlap between the sphere and the cone and the real ice cream cone, for this one we don't need to account for that. So first, let's write down the volume of the sphere, 4/3 pi r cubed, and the cone, 1/3 pi r squared h. And so we need the radius of the sphere, which we already have, which is 3 centimeters. And we need the radius and the height of the cone, which we're given 12 centimeters, and the same radius as the sphere, which is 3. So let's plug in our values. For the sphere, it's 4/3 pi times 3 cubed, which is 4 times pi times 3 squared, which is 36 pi. And this one for the cone is going to be 1/3 pi times 9 times 12. And this one will be 36 pi as well. So now we just do 36 pi plus 36 pi to add the volume up together, and we get 72 pi centimeters cubed. And that is your final answer for this problem. And just so you know, if you're in IB and you're doing IB math, then all the formulas that I said in this video are in the formula booklet. And in case you forget it, you can just go look back. I'm not so sure about other programs or tests, but in case you forget, I'm sure there are other ways to memorize or get these pretty easily. So everything that I explained and all the problems that I went through is to teach you everything you need to know about finding the volume of 3D shapes. If you learned something from this video, or if you enjoyed it, then please consider liking and subscribing.